Okay, well, it's my pleasure. Actually, it's our pleasure to welcome back Jason Menzo. Excuse me. Jason is the CEO at Foundation Fighting Blindness. Welcome back, Jason.
Welcome back, Jason.
Thanks, everyone. How are you guys doing tonight?
My God, she's
Well, that's the first time in 10 years I had a coughing attack, Jason.
Are you okay?
See what you
You
did?
doing okay?
Yeah.
Oh, it's great to be back with you guys tonight. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. And
Happy New Year to you,
Jason. I was
Jason.
looking to see the last time you were on. I think it was 6 years ago.
It's been a while. Yeah, it's been a while. I appreciate the opportunity to join you.
You just got back from Dublin?
You got back from Dublin?
I did. I just got back from Dublin. I was meeting, I'm on the board of an organization called Retina International. And we had a board meeting this week, but it was terrific. We had individuals from all over the world, someone from Australia and Sweden and Germany and Brazil, all over Spain, Ireland, folks from all over the world that are working together. Yeah, it was a terrific week spent strategizing on what the year ahead is going to bring for our organizations. So it was terrific. It was great.
Jason, before we go any further, say hi to our co-host tonight, Sheila Young.
Hi,
Hey,
Jason.
Sheila, how are you? Great to speak with you tonight. How are
You
things?
too. Dan Day is one of my members, and he said, I saw Jason's going to be on the show tomorrow night. I said, well, then listen and call in.
I want to shout out to Dan. Dan is a fantastic member of the Foundation Fighting Blindness community, too. One of our really longtime supporters. I love Dan. Hi, Dan.
Oh, yeah.
Hope you're listening.
Yep, for sure.
Jason, tell us how you got involved years and years ago with Foundation Fighting Blindness.
Sure. So my background is in the pharmaceutical and biotech industry. I do have a personal connection to the world of age-related macular degeneration. My grandfather was affected, and I've spent my whole career really in the vision research arena, bringing different products to market. And most of my time in that space was really bringing important products to market, but not to the same degree as what we do at the Foundation Fighting Blindness. And when I found out that there was an organization that was working in labs and in clinics all over the world to develop treatments and cures for conditions that cause truly the most significant conditions in the vision arena. Not that itchy eyes or dry eyes aren't important. They're important, of course, too. But, when I found out that there was an organization like the Foundation Fighting Blindness that was really developing treatments and cures for blinding diseases, I just wanted to learn more and see how I could get involved. And one thing led to another. And next thing you know, I started working for the organization. So it's I started back in 2018. So I guess, what does that make? This will be my 8th year with the foundation.
Right before we met Chris, actually. We met
Yeah,
Chris
that's right.
Chris Adams in 2019 and Ben Shaberman,
Yep. And we've got a great team.
Yeah.
Those are some great people that you just mentioned, and we're happy to have such a strong team all over the country working with our communities.
So would you like to explain to the audience what the mission is at Foundation Fighting Blindness? And we
Absolutely.
have new listeners, right, Michael?
Absolutely.
So,
and we're going, in 2 weeks, we're going syndication, so a lot more listeners.
That's fantastic. Well, I'm just so proud of your success and how you continue to not only put on a great and entertaining show, but continuing to reach new audiences, which is terrific. So for those who don't know, the Foundation Fighting Blindness is a health research organization. It's really simple what we do. So we have folks that work all over the country and now all over the world, where we connect with communities and individuals who are affected with blinding diseases. We raise money, and then ultimately all the money that we raise, something in the neighborhood of 80 cents on the dollar, goes right back to funding research to develop and advance potential treatments and cures for blinding diseases. And in our 55 years, this is our 55th year in existence, we have funded nearly $1 billion with a B, nearly $1 billion worth of research. We have helped to drive the research arena to develop now 50 different potential treatments that are in clinical trials. The first ever treatment for a blinding disease that was approved by the FDA was in our space. Those of you who have heard of Luxturna, that's a program that we helped to fund the research at the very early stages when it was at the University of Pennsylvania. And that's what we do. So every single year, like at this moment right now, we are funding research at 100 different institutions all over the world. We're investing in companies that are developing these treatments at the stage of clinical trials. And we work with regulators like the Food and Drug Administration or the European Medicines Agency to help craft the pathways for how potential treatments make their way through regulatory pathways. And most importantly, as we work with communities, like I said at the beginning, we have chapters all over the country. Dan Day is one of our chapter leaders there in Florida. And so anyone who's interested in connecting with the foundation, we have chapters, like I said, all over the country. And at our website, fightingblindness.org, listeners can learn more about what's happening in their communities and how they can potentially get involved with some of our local events that happen really all over the country.
Jason, I have a question for you and for those out there that might be listening. Explain the genetics process. I know that there is a way that you can find out the genetics of your eye condition.
Mhm.
So how would people learn about that?
My retina tracker.
Yeah,
That's
is that
right.
what
Yeah.
And
Yeah, my
Dan
retina
is on the
tracker.
line after we hear about my retina tracker. Dan is there.
Of course he is.
Oh, great. That's terrific. Can't wait to talk to you, Dan.
Let's learn about
Yeah.
my retina tracker, and then we'll talk.
Sure.
more.
So let's take a half a step back. So a condition like retinitis pigmentosa,
Which is
which
what I
is
have.
I was going to say, many people who are probably
Mm.
listening tonight have retinitis pigmentosa.
Mhm.
Retinitis pigmentosa can be caused by a mutation, which is just a fancy way of saying like a misspelling in the genetic code of any one of, let's say, 100 different genes, really inherited retinal diseases, which are, diseases including retinitis pigmentosa, but a broader, group of conditions than just that one. But, let's say any one of those 100 genes that could have a error or a misspelling in the code of that gene can cause the condition. And so no two people, two or three or five people in a room that all have retinitis pigmentosa could have retinitis pigmentosa caused by mutations in different genes. And most of the treatments that are in development, not all, but a good chunk of the treatments that are in development are specifically designed to address the mutation or the misspelling of within a particular gene. And so that's why it's important for an individual who's affected with retinitis pigmentosa or LCA or Usher syndrome or any number of the different clinical conditions, finds out what gene it is that they are affected by. And how you can do that is through, as was said just a minute ago, through my retina tracker, which is a program that we have at the Foundation Fighting Blindness, where the foundation actually covers all the cost associated with the genetic testing. And we even provide free genetic counseling. So after the genetic test is conducted and the results come back, we have a trained professional genetic counselor that'll get on the phone with you and sort of decode the mystery of what the genetic test results are telling us. And it's a very easy process. You can go to myretinatracker.org, or certainly, information about this and everything we do at the foundation is available at fightingblindness.org. But really, the process is simple. That a physician, either an ophthalmologist or an optometrist that is trained in retinal conditions, orders the test. It can be either a very simple blood sample or a saliva sample where they'll scrub the inside of your cheek. So they take a sample, they send it to the lab, and the lab then runs the results, and then ultimately the report will come back to the physician. And as I said, a genetic counselor can walk the individual through the results.
And they can go to Foundation Fighting Blindness on our sponsor page and click on that and go right to my retina tracker. Let's say hello to Dan before we go to break.
Do we have
Awesome.
to? No, I'm sorry.
Daily Young.
I said hi to him yesterday. Hey, Dan, how are you?
Hey, Dan.
Well, you guys gave me the big shout out, so I had to call in once you gave me the big shout out there, so I had to say it. But first, before I forget, let me just say congratulations to Blind and Beyond and the whole crew there for the syndication. This is just a major milestone, isn't it? I mean, for the show.
Amen.
Thank you so much, Dan Day. Thank you so much.
Of course. So, Jason, just the other day, again, someone asked me, with all of the things going on with the Department of Health and with cuts in the budget in the NIH and such, how is the mission of the foundation being affected by that? So I know there's got to be, if I got the question and get it every other thing, there's got to be a lot of listeners who are wondering. So I thought maybe you could update people on that.
Happy to. Yeah, first of all, Happy New Year to you, Dan. It's great to hear your voice. It's a great question. It's one that we get pretty regularly as well. And, one way to think about this is that the Foundation Fighting Blindness, so our organization, is not a federally funded organization. So 99% of the funds that we use to drive research is provided by individual donations, philanthropists, corporate sponsorship, things of that nature, not direct funding from the federal government. So
That's good news.
There's a little bit that we have, but no more than 1.5–2%. So the work that we do is fairly isolated from what's happening in Washington. Now, that said, we work really closely with researchers who are funded not only by us, but also by the National Eye Institute, which is a particular institute in the National Institute of Health. So as Dan, I'm certain Dan knows this, I've spent a lot of my personal time this past year on the Hill lobbying and advocating for a couple things. Number one, for the National Eye Institute to remain an independent institute within the infrastructure of the National Institutes of Health. There was a proposal this time last year actually to collapse the National Eye Institute into a less eye-specific group within the neuro division of the NIH. Up to this point, we've been successful at maintaining the National Eye Institute as a separate independent entity. Now, that is a battle that we're going to continue to have to advocate for, because I don't think that risk is going to go away. But the other side of it is the funding. And so, again, similar to so many things in our policy, public policy these days, where everything is being scrutinized, there's a threat of, a 40% reduction of NIH funding, which was the original proposal from the administration about, June last year, I think is when that was proposed. And both the Senate and the House made counter proposals that were more in line with the budget that we typically would see for the NIH or NEI. And so this is not something that I have total clarity on what the future is going to look like. I wish I could say, oh, we're safe, we don't have that risk anymore. That's not the case. The risk still exists. But really the take-home message for the listeners are that the Foundation Fighting Blindness as an entity is not directly affected by federal funding cuts or otherwise, but that we really do need to speak to your local representatives, speak to your senators to voice how important vision research is, because we do need a healthy, well-funded National Eye Institute to partner with to continue to drive research forward.
Absolutely.
And Jason, and I want to say, Jason, what I would ask you to do is please reach out to the American Council of the Blind Advocacy, because we are going to DC in March, and
Great.
Of course the National Federation goes, it's pretty soon, I'm sure, but we really need to advocate for this, because we are the advocacy organizations for vision. So we need this information so that we can advocate for research and funding and budgeting, and we really need this information.
Well, maybe we can connect offline and we can compare notes so that we can coordinate.
Be wonderful.
That'd be great.
I'll give you Sheila's email address.
Thank you, Jason.
Thank you for calling in,
Thank
Jason.
you very much for calling in, Jason.
Thanks, Dan.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, Dan,
Thanks,
for calling
everyone.
in.
Thanks, Dan.
Jason, I hope it's not another 6 years before you call in again.
Oh yeah. Hey, can I before I hop off, can I mention one other thing?
Absolutely.
Sure.
So we have
We'll see you soon in Boston, Jason.
Oh yeah, we will. Thank you. I just want to let everyone know that we have our really huge event coming up this summer. I just want to put it on people's radar. It's called United in Vision, and that's why I was in Dublin, actually in part why I was in Dublin this past week, because the Foundation Fighting Blindness is partnering with Retina International to put on a huge patient conference June 12th and June 13th in Fort Worth, Texas, where we expect 1,000+ people from all over the world coming together where we'll have new information on what's happening in the research arena, updates from mental health awareness and mental health resources that exist, technology and accessibility resources that exist, but also most importantly, just meeting and networking with other people from across the country and across the globe who are similarly affected with blinding or low vision conditions. And so all that information is on our website, but I wanted to plug that for everyone as well.
Wow, that's
Thank you
awesome.
so
Thank you,
much.
Jason.
Thanks, Jason.
All right. Thank you all so much. Have a good night.
Take
You
care.
too.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.